I don't know. Is it?
Hey, hi. Oh,
Oh,
that
it
looks
is
a little
kinda dark.
better. It's a little dark,
Let's
which is
turn
weird
on the
because
light.
it's actually sunny today. But hello, everybody.
Is that better? Is it just your screen? Is your screen dark?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's a little better.
Yeah. Let us know
Hi.
how it looks. If it looks a little dark
Stop
or
it.
if it looks okay.
Yeah.
If you want to chat us up and let us know.
Hey, friends. Yeah. So let us know if this screen is too dark, and I don't know what
we'll do. We can move. We can sit on the ground under the window.
Right?
Yeah.
I said like that. Hey, it looks fine. Oh, nice. Yep. Okay, good. Yep. There's no
Yay! Oh, yeah. We have a hard time with directions on this. Did you see Luna just licked me too? Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. So we're excited. It's been a while.
Yeah, today.
Yeah, we were going to do it. I don't know. There's been a lot going on.
We were going to do it March 1st.
Yeah. And then we didn't because we were.
Hey, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. We were debuting Glow Up.
Oh, right.
And just getting ready for Yarn Crawl. And Laura Jean had just gotten back from Madrona. Right? Like it was just, there was just a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, Stefan. Are the kids on too? Are the kids watching or are they?
I was going to say, don't forget to pick them up.
I know, because we might be cousins. Hi, Patty. We both have the same lipstick on. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Put earmuffs on them.
We both have mermaid tears on today.
Yeah. I can't tell. I mean, it's so dark on our screen.
Yeah, it's real dark.
So
yeah. But if you say,
guess what I just did, y'all?
Dominated some technology. I had a kind of a lot of stuff happen on my drive over. I stopped to get gas. Our car, the windows don't work, so I had to open up the door.
Because it's like an old Volvo.
Yeah, the passenger door. So I was leaning over, and I knocked my purse onto my muffin with chocolate, coconut, peanut butter on it. So I got chocolate, coconut, peanut butter all over my purse. And then when I was walking in here, I sprayed water all over my face. So we'll see. I might fall off my chair in a bit.
She is sitting on a spinning chair.
I am, but it has arms.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Yeah. Should we just start?
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. I'm Shannon.
Oh, yeah. This is Luna. Sorry. I'm Laura Jean.
This is Luna's chair.
Yeah. Thanks, Kirsten. She's
ridiculous.
She's a lot. Yeah. But she's real sweet when she's not barking.
And
she's looking out the window, so she might freak out because she sees something across the street that we're in danger of. Yeah. She's all right, so we have our fancy signs that tells us what to talk about. So here we go. It's Rising Tidosity. Woo woo! Woohoo! So if you've come to Open Studios, you've probably seen them here before because they were here during the holidays and just recently at Galentine's. And honestly, they're welcome to come back anytime because
they're amazing.
Yeah. So it's Side Hustle Socks, and they're here locally in Portland. And Margaret, Emily, and Hillary,
yes,
are all the worker bees behind it. And they have a sock print machine, and
that they've named Josephine.
Josephine, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm stabbing myself with sharp needles. Yes. So I had all of this self-striping yarn that I will never knit into socks because the gauge is just that much smaller than our sock yarn, and I already go down to double zeros for that sock yarn. So it's just not going to happen. And so I gave them all of the skeins, and I had them make them into tubes, and I think that the biggest one was 84 maybe.
Yeah, they do 3 different tube circumferences, and so 60, and then maybe 72 and 84.
So I'm going to have leg warmers, y'all, and they're amazing. And Luna's real upset about that. And so
she thought it was going to be a turtleneck sweater for her.
No. There's a path right out there. Anyways, so yeah, all I have to do is attach the sprayer. Hi.
They're amazing. So we also got some tubes cranked to make socks too.
Yeah.
And they give you a pattern that tells you how to turn the tube into a pair of socks. So it walks you through how to do the toes and the cuffs, and then an afterthought heel too. which we have yet to do, but we are going
We have
to. It's on our list.
few.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's so easy to be like, oh, here's some yarn, and oh my god, now I have tubes. But that final step, it's like
actually the
sleeves,
doing of it. Yeah, yeah.
And I have this one that I'm working on too. They did 6 skeins in one continuous tube with waste yarn between them. So that's what's in my chicken boots bucket. And then,
did you cut them all apart?
No.
Okay. It was the most. It's just the. You should pick up the
so awesome.
The roll because it's so delicious looking.
Okay,
if you can get it out.
Well, so in the roll.
Oh, I forgot you did that.
In the roll is all of the, you can't see, but all the yarn that I'm going to do for the contrast tops and edges is wound up in it. That's what I did last Friday. Yeah, I took an hour and did something nice for myself.
Well, and so this one, the one she just showed you, is like it's like Glow Up, the new collaboration we just came out with. Like it's really like glow uppy rainbow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm using this is white birch, and then I'm using Lemonade Shop as the edge. So that's going to be pretty magical. So awesome. Yeah. So we highly encourage, if you have a stash of sock yarn that you're like a little bit overwhelmed by, crank out some socks. Throw on the heels and toes, and you can give them to somebody, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And these Inside Hustle is all over Portland. They're going to a bunch of the different yarn shops.
They're at Close Knit tonight, I think they said.
Oh yeah. And they sometimes they'll just have a cranking party, but then sometimes they'll have a class as well. Yes, so you can actually go. They'll crank a tube for you, and then they'll teach you how to do the afterthought heel, and then do the toes and the cuff. So and they wrote their own pattern for it and everything. And they're a great company. They're wonderful women. Yeah,
real good folks. All right, next up. What's on your needles? What's on your needles, Shan?
Oh my gosh. I don't have it right here. So it's in the other room. I'm just going to leave it there. Socks. I'm designing a sock collection that we're going to talk about in a little bit. And I'm also working on, I'm kind of behind on my herstory socks. Oh. So I'm still working on my first herstory sock, which is in Goddess. Yeah, I don't have it. Okay, I got to get them. So just kind of plugging away at some socks. I finished Patty's on, and so is Stefan. I finally finished Stefan's birthday socks.
Way to go.
His birthday was in November.
The end of November.
November. It was like December. It was almost the holidays.
Yeah. It's totally fine.
And I knitted so many things for the holidays, meaning I knitted nothing for the holidays. But so I finished him. I was working. Yeah. So he said, "Woo." And they're really nice. They're very nice socks. I finished them at the trunk show, our last trunk show at the Yarn Call. So
yeah. Way to go.
Yep.
On my needles, so I've been in a finishing kick for some wild reason. I finished a sweater and got the buttons on, the ends are woven in. I've been wearing it from Jill Draper. It's at home. But I finished that one. So I'm working on my spell shawl that I cast on. You don't really remember.
I feel like it was, it was so long ago. I feel like we got the yarn when we did the trunk show in Washington.
I don't know.
It's so beautiful though. Look at that.
Oh, Hedgehog. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's their single yarn base. So I am just down. I just have to get this down to 7 stitches, and I am so close, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful. It's like a mermaid tail.
Yeah, and this pattern, I don't know if y'all have knit it before, but I highly recommend it. And if you're like, oh, shawl, that's too much, do the cowl. And then you're like, I need to knit this always and forever.
It's so much fun. I did. So easy. I feel like I did like 4 of them, just maybe 5, all in a row. It's one of my patterns. Yeah. But it's super fun, super easy.
Double. Yeah. Can we just do like a bouquet? But then you're losing.
You don't get the. Yeah. You don't get the.
Never mind.
Yeah.
JK.
And it's fingering held double because you're doing like 2 strands of color A, then 1 strand of color A and 1 strand of color B, then 2 strands of color B. So you're fading. Mm-hmm. You're kind of going from one color to another. So it's really fun to do it where you go from like Laura Jean did right here, where you go from light to darker, or more tealy. Mm-hmm. It's also fun to do just like 2 completely different colors and kind of fade from one to another. So
super easy to
and look, it's got some rainbow. I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's some rainbow from. She's got some sun catchers in the window. Yeah, so that's lovely.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
I know it's gonna be so awesome.
I don't know what I'm gonna do next.
It would match my shirt today.
Oh, do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay. don't know what to do with it. So
I might have a new shawl.
yeah, I might get a new shawl.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry. Falling down on the job. All right, Shannon.
What's in our briefcases? So, things we have either just done or have coming up.
Yeah.
So we just did this big glow up collaboration with Lord Jean's yarn, this beautiful glow up rainbow.
Inspired by Studio Nucci's tassels.
Oh, yeah.
They're the best. She's the best.
And 5 different options for yarns that go with it, for like a full skein that goes with it. And it was me and 9 other designers. Debbie Stone is one of them, and she's on today. And it was so much fun. We all did completely different things. The collection is still available through Ravelry. You can get the whole collection for $33 through April 1st. And then all of the designers have their own, sell their own patterns if you just want one of them too.
Yeah.
And we're doing a knit along that starts on Wednesday. And crochet along, because Kira Kay did a gorgeous crochet.
Yeah. Like everybody wants to learn to crochet to make that
That's
pattern.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have her come up and teach.
Yeah. That'd be great.
So it's knit and crochet along starts on Wednesday, spring equinox.
And it goes all the way to summer solstice. Yeah. Because if you're like me, you might take a minute.
Or if you're a fast knitter or a crocheter, you can do a couple.
Yeah.
Because there are some hats. There are all different sizes of projects. Some use most of the yarn. Some are a little smaller where it's like a hat that just uses part of the yarn. They're all so wonderful.
Yeah. A super wide selection.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a another thing coming up that I'm going to be releasing. It's going to be part of Busy Bees. So if any Busy Bees are on, you might want to just close your eyes if you don't want any spoilers. But it's a shawl called the corduroy shawl. And it's made holding one skein of Lord Jean's fairy floss with one strand of her merino shimmer fingering.
That must be so soft.
It's so good. It's so beautiful. So what it is, I called it corduroy because it's just real simple, like knit and purl panels. But there's narrow wail, so it's got the more narrow panels, just like corduroy pants. And then there's wide wail, so it has wider panels. So it's super fun, and it just plays with, stockinette and reverse stockinette. Isn't it so much fun?
Yeah.
And it's an asymmetric triangle, which is, I think, for me, it's the most wearable shape. I really love wearing them and knitting them. It's so much fun.
What colors did you use? Because I had that question a few times.
Yeah, so for this one, I used Time of Turner and Gates of the Arctic, I think.
Okay.
And then this one, I used Unicorn, Giggles, and Spectre Specs.
Oh, that's what it's like.
Yeah, so they both lean more toward like pinky. I was thinking I really want to do one in blues too.
Ooh,
because I don't have much in blues. So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah. And then I do have I don't know if we should share the LYS stuff. Is that kind of secret?
Nice. I mean,
okay. I also have
ooh, hey.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can I wear that?
Yeah. So this is
terrible hair today.
Yeah, you can totally wear it. So these are 2 pieces. It's so puffy. That's the large one. But isn't it fun?
Amazing.
They're so they are going to be patterns that are available at yarn shops that are interested for free on local yarn shop day, which is April 27th.
Yep.
And this is the cowl, and that's a hat. And so it's a combo pattern.
It's like a puffy coat for your head.
Yeah, it's such a fun stitch pattern to do. And this one is in a new color that's going to be available at some yarn shops too, called LYS Giggles. And then this one is in Eliza Frumke. And the fun part about it is that it's reversible. So the back side is all bubbly like this. I know. And the front side is like super puffy stitches. So it's so much fun to knit. It's not difficult. It's just, cool. And it's so squishy. I want to play around with this stitch more. Yeah, it's so much fun.
I think Kimberly made one of these, right?
Kimberly made one too. She made it in Targi.
Yeah, which
Luna
like
is
squish on squish.
She's like being my
she's
lumbar
like your
support.
Yeah,
Good
job, Luna.
Yeah, it's great. I'm so
she did that last time. She's all squishing with you.
I know. She loves me and she hates me.
Yeah.
Yeah, hers is extra slouchy.
Yeah.
Kimberly's is awesome.
Oh, nice.
Super awesome.
Yeah, I could see spending the.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I don't know. I kind of like this.
It's so squishy.
It's so squishy.
Yeah. You can wear it.
It's cool. You're like, cover your hair, please.
I told her hair's not bad. It's just got a lot going on. It's just floofy. Yeah. We were talking, a lot of us here, that we all kind of need haircuts.
Yeah.
We're all in our haircut, in that part of our hair cutting cycle.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I think you kind of covered what's in my briefcase, that glow up thing. And then the Socks on Vacay. Yeah. So Socks on Vacay is coming up. We have 16 new part colors, national part colors coming out. Ooh, hey.
If you want to spoil a color.
Yeah, if you don't want to spoil a color. So we developed these colors a few months ago, and like our glow up rainbow we did in August. So we kind of have to sit on secrets for a while. But if you ever come to the studio, I totally show everybody everything. So. Yeah. So if you don't want a spoiler, turn away. This is, again, I don't know if everything's translating well, but this is Joshua tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have 16 part colors, and for the last year or two, we've done it for 2 years for Socks on Vacay.
Yeah, this will be the third.
Yeah. So Memorial Day to Labor Day, we do Socks on Vacay, and we knit socks in knitted weight yarn and Shannon's patterns, and we have really huge competitions. And yeah, and it's on Instagram with hashtags, and it's so amazing to see where people go on vacation.
Oh my gosh,
I want to go with them.
Yeah.
So my socks our sock pattern stuff gets you out.
And your vacation could just be in your backyard.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't have to be a big vacation.
It often is for us. Yeah. So one thing that we're doing differently this year is we're partnering with local yarn stores, and they will have it's sort of like a club for them. They'll have 4 colors show up for a month, and we're gonna have postcards, like a passport, and so you can get stamps, or they'll sign that you purchased, and then we'll have little giveaways at the end if you've gotten them all. And we want to encourage people to go to their local yarn stores because we think they're a huge, vital part of this community. And so this is our way to help that happen, especially in the summer, And socks are such a great portable
summertime project. Yeah, because summer is when fewer people do go into yarn shops. Mm-hmm. It's when the foul weather knitters, as I like to call them, stop knitting. So it's a good way to encourage people to continue knitting through the summer and to build up. This is not something I've done in the past, but it's something I'm going to do this summer. Build up some gifts for others instead of just for myself. Yeah.
And so Shannon will have 3 new sock designs, and she already has a great back catalog and like shorty socks, they go so fast, especially when you can do like 3 socks out of one skein.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And they're all patterns that can be made into more traditionally heighted socks as well. Yeah. Yeah. There's some, it's a sample. It's a sample.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what's happening.
She won't get out. She's like right behind my back.
I don't
know. She's so happy. Luna is right behind my lower back. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Come here, doo-doos. Whoops.
Dog down.
Nope, she wants to.
It's fine. Okay.
So our last big segment, let's get into it. So we sort of started this conversation out today, and then we had some surprise guests, and then we just needed to wrap it up because our time had ended.
Yeah. And we had a lot of work to do in the room to get set up.
So much to do. So we started this conversation about racism in the crafting community. I think it goes beyond knitting because it's also happening in slow fashion.
It's happening everywhere.
It's happening everywhere, right?
It's just it's come to the forefront in the knitting community just since the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And I feel like we need to have all these asterisks in this conversation. Yeah. First of all, we have not discussed what we're going to talk about.
No,
so let's start there.
Yeah.
Also,
we had a huge to-do list today.
Yeah. We're white, and we're white women, and I feel like there always needs to be an asterisk when I talk about racism because it's like, am I perpetuating the negatives? Am I helping further the conversation? How am I sitting in my white privilege and talking about it? And ignoring the white fragility of doing it wrong and kind of rising above that and trying to be vulnerable to have the conversation. And if you follow me on Instagram, I tend to do things in my stories that are to have those honest conversations. And I feel like if I allow space for myself to be vulnerable, I can hopefully allow space for other people to be vulnerable with me. And I feel like I've been out of the work for a minute because I finished up Me and White Supremacy, and I have not been in that space of reading and doing and journaling. And because I've moved on to another thing I'm doing with Lent, and it's not around racism. So I feel like I've dropped the ball in holding space for that conversation. And again, white privilege and getting to hold space for that conversation.
That you're able to do that.
Yeah. So I feel like those are all my little asterisks before we dive into anything. And again, we don't know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So
and if you all have anything that you would like to contribute to the conversation, please do. You do have to be a YouTube
logged in.
Yeah, like logged in. You have to have an account in order to comment. But we'd love to hear if you have anything to say and to contribute and any questions or anything.
Yeah.
So we just, I think the main thing we wanted to talk about was just that it's a really important issue that we're all paying attention to, particularly white people, that we're paying attention to it and that we're cognizant of what's happening in the world at large and in our community, and that we're doing what we can to
dismantle.
Yeah, to dismantle it. And that that we're not afraid to say white people, black people, white supremacy, racism, those are not, we can't let the fear of saying those words cause us not to address the issues that are affecting so many people in our, in our spheres, because so many things that have been going on but haven't been talked about have been now being shared more broadly, like how people feel in a lot of yarn shops, people of color feel in yarn shops and at events, that how they feel, how people who own knitting businesses have worked really hard, like women of color, particularly in knitting businesses, have worked really hard to make sure their hands aren't showing in their Instagram posts because they don't want their brown skin to make it so people aren't buying their products. Just a lot of things that as white women we haven't seen, so I feel like we're so fortunate that people are willing to share these things that are really hurtful and potential, and not potential, but hurtful and hard to talk about with us to help us learn what we need to combat.
Asterisk, we're learning about racism because we're not experiencing it.
Yeah. So anybody have anything? It's something that like all of the whole kind of social justice, working for progressive causes, lifting up everybody has always been something really important to both of us. And it's been something that has been part of our businesses, but the whole white supremacy and racism thing has not been something that has been talked about because we've been,
that hasn't been our experience. Maybe.
It hasn't been our experience.
We haven't been either willing to listen or actively seeking.
I think it's
that story.
Even kind of worse than that is we didn't even think it was an issue.
Right. And like you said, like we are all about social justice and inclusion and all that, but it's great to be about those things, but what are we doing to actively dismantle white supremacy? And I think that is what has been missing for white women. Like that's white feminism is not acknowledging that step of how my independence and freedom
means nothing if
I'm not trying to get that freedom for BIPOC, right?
Exactly. And BIPOC is an acronym that means Black and Indigenous people of color.
Black,
Indigenous, and people of color. Yeah.
And the reason for that distinction is recognizing that Black and Indigenous folks are typically more like they're at the bottom of this pile. And so they're typically more, that sounds terrible.
They get the brunt of white supremacy.
Yeah, whereas like the shade closer to white, so people of color is is
she's sleeping. Yeah, I'm just gonna perch.
Is the lighter shade of skin with colorism.
Yeah,
the easier potentially things might be. For you.
Yeah.
I bumbled through that. Ugh.
And that's the thing that I think we all need to remember, especially people who are white, is that we're going to bumble through it because it's uncomfortable, and we've been conditioned not to talk about it,
right.
And we've been conditioned not to say certain words like white supremacy and racism
and black and white,
even black and white. You know, we've been conditioned not to say those things. You know, there's the whole like melting pot, colorblind, you know, all that stuff that was held up in a lot of society as the best way to be when we were children.
Right.
And so it's, it's just really important to talk about it, to put the actual, you know, it's like when you are teaching your kids about their bodies.
Yes.
And you don't want your kids to call their private areas their boo-boos or whatever, because if ever they need to actually talk about something, you know, if ever anything happens, they need to be able to talk about the parts of their body with confidence and what they are. Yeah. So,
And I found for me as a parent, having these conversations with either my children in the room or to my children, like that's where I've gained confidence in the ability and to use the words and to have the conversation to explain what I'm trying to get across or process what I am trying to understand. And I always feel like I tend to be very brutally honest with my children about what's happening in the world. And I know there are some other parents, white parents, that don't want to take it to that level because they're trying to preserve some innocence. And I understand that. But on the other hand, there's BIPOC children that don't get that privilege of not understanding what it means that my dad's going to drive somewhere and what if he gets pulled over by the cops. Like, there are children in my school that are concerned about that.
Learning how they need to act differently than white children that are in the same classroom as them. Yeah. Like, they can't be as boisterous and
taking up space in the safety of their body. And so on the one hand, sure, I want my kids to be kids, but they're BIPOC children that don't have that same privilege. So I want them to understand that, and especially having two white boys, the burden is on them to put in the work to dismantle this.
Yeah. And to be sticking up for, you know, to make sure that they're there with their friends who are experiencing racism. And
I always wonder, like, is this getting in there? Do you understand?
I think I'm going to go ahead and tell you yes and no, because I feel like that about everything with my children. Is it getting in? Do you understand yet that you have to wash your hands every time you go to the bathroom? You know, do you understand yet that it's your job to...
It's such a classic example. Yeah. I say that every time, and they turn around.
Well, and like, blow your nose, you know, clear the table. Like, you know, it's like with anything, it's just repetition. Yeah. And if you're comfortable talking about big issues with your children, they're going to understand those big issues better.
Right.
And be able to recognize when injustices are happening. And so it's big. It's big stuff.
Yeah.
But it's good stuff because we all want a world that everybody is happy and comfortable. We want to be in a community. You know, we want our crafting world to be a world that we are all having fun and happy and comfortable, you know? Right. So I think it's, particularly as white women, as white people, it's our job to actively do what we can to make this whole space a better space. Yeah.
Y'all real quiet in the comments, so or they're not showing up.
Sometimes they don't show up, and then we get like a bunch later. Yeah. But
that's what we got.
I know that's what we got. We are going to so our to-do list is I think it's about maybe 2.5 miles long.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
It's a Google Doc with like 3 subpoints down.
But then it's also a whole page in my planner that I haven't had time to add to the Google Docs. I think some overlap.
Yeah, hopefully.
Some
overlap. Okay.
Stefan?
No.
Yeah, Stefan's got really a lot of ideas for Yarns
It's interesting,
inspired
I
by
haven't heard
famous
any of
race
these.
car liveries. Yeah, I have it. It's on the list, Stefan.
What's a livery? Is that like where the cars live, like a horse?
Oh, it's
It's a barn where the cars live, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
You come on, Stephanie.
Yeah. Hi, Emmy.
Hey,
Hi,
Emmy.
Debbie. Oh my
Here.
gosh. Emmy and Debbie both said he's hilarious at the same time.
Yeah. Sure.
Can you please insert your sarcastic emojis so he knows you're not
Right.
being serious? So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to try to plan out the next couple months of these. So we have them on the calendar for us and for you.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to try to plan out our topics, the topics that we're going to focus on at the end.
Anything you want us to
I know we did
chat
get
about?
a couple after our first one.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Is it a Google one?
No, it's in an email somewhere, buried somewhere. We'll find them. It's on our list. Because we do have a lot of really fun things coming up that we want to do that we have to flesh out. So, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks
I
for
think we're
hanging
done.
out with us.
This is our goal, is to have these be a half hour long, and we are at 30
Nailed it.
minutes and 52 seconds. So, yeah, thank you all for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate the support and the love and the
Feel free
friendship.
to email us if you want to talk more. Because if you're not comfortable in the comment section, that's fine.
Yeah.
We're here to chat with you. Oh,
You
thanks, Kimberly.
too,
It was great.
Kimberly.
And thanks, Deb. We appreciate all of you showing up and hanging out with us, too.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Emmy, are you at work?
Why are you calling her?
I'm not calling her out. My friend's in the office around the corner.
Yay, see, so. Okay,
Oh,
good.
nice, nice.
I
I was like, tell Tracy to come over here.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
How do you turn? Oh, there it is.
Yes.